Hi everyone, my name is Audrey Alison and I wanted to create this intro video to let you know that 6 out of the 12 videos have a delay in the audio, and I even re-recorded them. It's probably the Mercury retrograde. My MacBook Pro tends to have a delay every retrograde, so I apologize if there's a disconnect between my vocals and what you see on the screen. I just wanted to wish you a Happy New Year and thank you for listening to the forecast, even if it's disconnected somehow. I tried. I'm not an engineer. I did everything I could. So hopefully next month I won't have the same issue when Mercury is direct. Have a sweet day. Hi Virgo, my name is Audrey Alison. Thanks for joining me for your January 2016 forecast for the month. Happy New Year. I'm happy to be here, and I'm indoors because it is freezing. It's 5 degrees above freezing in Los Angeles, so I'm inside today. It's too cold out there. Okay, let's start the top of the month with Mercury, your ruling planet, entering Aquarius briefly before your ruling planet retrogrades at 1 degree of Aquarius, going back to 14 degrees of Capricorn. So this review and revision initially starts in the 6th house of health and routine for 1 degree, and then goes back through Capricorn in the 5th house of children and creative endeavors and romance. So you could use this retrograde to work for you if you are dating a few people at once and you're trying to pick which partner you'd like to be with. You could also use this review to select appropriate schooling for your children or placements for your children at this time. Also, for creative projects and entrepreneurs, people who started their own businesses, the 5th house is the entrepreneur house. So you could use this retrograde to revise what you have budgeted or what you have in store for that. This isn't a money house at all, but since the 6th house of work and the 5th house are affected in the retrograde, it could apply to the position that you're in and how you are working, how you are spending your time in the hours of your day, your regimen. As Mercury increases in the retrograde back deeper into Capricorn, Mercury will then trine Jupiter, who's stationed in your sign. So please watch your rising sign, your ascendant as well, because they're more accurate for the degrees of transits. But the trine, Jupiter, will also be retrograding on the 7th at 23 degrees of Virgo, back through 13 degrees of Virgo in that 10-degree area. So this is the 1st house of self on the solar wheel. Jupiter isn't negative when he retrogrades. He's still full of opulence and gives a sense of optimism and faith in the sector that he touches. Watch the body, the weight gain with Jupiter in the 1st house of self. You tend to expand. You can easily put on pounds because he's jovial. He's like Santa Claus. When he sits in a sector, he just likes to expand and everything's happy. You have a sense of optimism and faith. But the trine between Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde will affect the 1st and 5th house. So maybe a few of you are trying to conceive and you might have a difficult time with conception in the retrogrades, but no sense in keep trying, or there's positivity in trying, because, and no sense in getting upset about it. It'll happen in divine timing, but you can always try. This could also apply if you're out of the age bracket for children. The 5th house of luck and gambling and creative energy. I would hold on to the gambling with Mercury retrograde in your 5th house. You don't have a tremendous sense of intuitive communication with Mercury retrograde there. You might not get the right feelings about gambling or the same energy that you would if Mercury were direct. I'm hearing some things, and I'm getting that for those of you who took a risk, Now, that's like a gamble in work, or starting your own business, took a risk and went on your own, for freelance people or self-employed people. Don't get too anxious if your earnings aren't up to speed in that 20-day period between the 5th of January and the 25th. This will pick up again once Mercury goes direct, and Jupiter, well, you don't need Jupiter fully direct for earnings, but on May 10th, Jupiter will be direct, and Mercury will be direct on the 25th of January. On the 3rd of January, Mars enters Scorpio, and this is your third house of communications. And Mars is aggressive and anxious and angry at times. So watch your tone when communicating with others. Also, Mars in the third house is the third house of the vehicle. So watch any road rage or watch the vehicle itself while driving. You might want to get that handled at the end of January when Mercury's direct, but Mars is still in the third house of the vehicle. Also, there could be something happening with siblings, the third house of siblings and neighborhood energy. Maybe there's a spat going on with a sibling or someone that lives in your neighborhood that could be addressed when Mars is in this sector. But for less negative connotation, Mars in the third could be very exciting energy for new clients, contacts, in the third house of marketing, and third house of communication and who you need to speak to in order to handle your life. Mars will make you very energetic and when you're in communication with people. On the 7th, Jupiter makes his retrograde through the 10th of May in Virgo. I'm not too upset about that. It's not the same effect as a Mercury retrograde. It just slows the disbursement of positive energy. On the 9th, we have our new moon at 19 degrees of Capricorn. So this is that fifth house energy where Mercury is retrograde, and the new moon is replenishing. For those of you who want children and can conceive and have a willing partner, that's the time to consider to start the 9th, your new moon, planting the seed of intention, literally. So the new moon in the fifth house of children is positive for pregnancy for Virgo. But it's also the start of something creative or the start of something fun. It's leisure, it's pleasure, it's sitting back. It's all things Leo in the fifth house. Leos know how to have a good time. The sun enters Aquarius on the 20th, is there through February 19th. The sun in the sixth house of health, replenishing that area where Mercury had initiated its retrograde. Beautiful for health from the 20th on. Venus enters Capricorn, all in that fifth house, conjunct a retrograde Mercury. Venus is harmony in the fifth house, so a lot of you might be conceiving females, a lot of girls being conceived with Venus in the fifth. Now, for those people who aren't in relationship, Venus being love and romance, the goddess Aphrodite, and harmony and sensuality in the fifth house, amazing energy for attracting new love. And I should say this, when the new moon on the 9th is in the fifth house, that's the time to initiate passion and new love. There's good energy for Virgoans who want to attract a new sexual relationship, a new physical partner, or also lighthearted dating energy. This could eventually develop into monogamy, but the fifth house is more romance and physicality and lightheartedness, playful energy. Our full moon is also on the 23rd when Venus enters Capricorn at 3 degrees of Leo. So the sign right before you, your 12th house of endings. Having a full moon in the house of endings, you're wrapping up a 12-year cycle with the 12 houses, because next month is the full moon in Virgo. So full moon bringing an ending in the 12th. There's complete closure. You could relieve yourself of a vice an addiction, a behavioral pattern, a subconscious mind pattern, a habit. Beautiful energy for that in the house of release and endings. And also an awareness in the psychic ability, a culmination of intuitiveness, with the full moon being that big and shining and at its largest, at her fullest, in the sector of guidance and intuition. You might have some visions around the time of the 23rd of January. Let's get to the cards. I'm using the Alchemical deck, my Steadfast deck by Robert M. Place. And let's see what Virgo has in store for January 2016. And if you'd like to read with me, I'm at audreyalison.com. You just select your desired reading length via the PayPal button at the bottom of my appointment request page and submit your order. And I will get back to you in an email in a few days and we'll set something up. Okay, Virgo, I've been shuffling throughout the whole reading. Let's see what your cards are for January. The Hierophant. This is a card of Taurus energy. But it's also spirituality, a guru, metaphysical energy, meditation, learning, school, study. Now, the third house, where Mars is, could see you go back to school, could see you learn something that you need in order to move forward in work, or just something that you need to learn. The Ten of Wands is the next card, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's a depiction of someone carrying 10 wands on their back uphill. So you might have a few burdens that you need to release, but there's vindication here with this. This is a very passionate card. It does denote that things need to be thrown away, get some things off your back. Let's see what else comes up. Five of Cups. A breaking of position. Two people may be going their separate ways. Breaking free. Maybe some of you Virgoans are starting new romances because you're getting out of old ones. Let's see what else. You have a few cards at the end. Three of Coins. Earnings, the artist. Potential to earn in a creative endeavor. The Eight of Wands. This is similar to the Ten of Wands, that something needs to be cut out or released. Maybe you have too many irons in the fire, too many things on your plate right now, and you really have to discern, in the retrograde of your ruling planet would be a great time, what works for you and what does not. Because, yeah, we want to accomplish all of these things, but you can't do everything at once, and not everything can get 100% of your energy if you have too many things going on. So maybe you need to go back to school to figure out what you need to do and what you don't need to do. But you're breaking free. This could be in that 12th house of behavioral patterns. What has enslaved you, what you're bound to, can be released. And this is how you will fly away. You see how there's the phoenix here with the wings spread and the two birds with their wings spread? I notice that in cards, when two things are the same like that, that it tends to relate to the same message: freedom, taking flight. Now, you don't have a tremendous amount of travel energy happening in your cards, and I wouldn't recommend travel in the retrograde, nor would I recommend it with Jupiter retrograde in your first house, but that's not as negative as a Mercury retrograde. But taking flight, doing something on your own. And the fifth house is a very independent house. So you might be starting your own businesses at this time, or starting something creative just for you. Thanks so much, Virgo. I appreciate you following me. And if you are interested in liking my Facebook page, I'm at Audrey Alison Astrology and Tarot. Happy New Year, and I will see you soon. Remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.